look at the slides. You can do that, but I'm going to go ahead and stick the link in the chat. Whoa, it's very large. Okay, so I have to push all the buttons, do all the things. There we go. All right, so this is a little update on the library, the current status of the library renovation. For some of you, it may be things that you've heard before, some things you've heard before, but I wanted to make sure that I was providing information for whoever happened to show up today. So hopefully this is not too much of a repeat of things that you have heard before. And in case you're unaware, this is a mural that exists in the reading room of Jackson Library that a UNCG alumna did of some things that we have coming up with the renovation. So I just think it's really cool. And I don't know, it's fun to see it in this way. And I'll also explain a little bit about it when we get a little bit further on in the presentation. So I, the other day with my family, watched, I was going to say one of the greatest holiday films of all time, but I'm going to say one of the greatest films of all time, which would be A Muppet Christmas Carol. And I will note that this is Marley and Marley, not the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come, but the ghost of Christmas past in Muppet Christmas Carol is really creepy, so I prefer Marley and Marley. They sing a great song. So we're doing this in terms of the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Present, and the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. So here we go. All right, so just to give you a brief overview, again, this is probably information that you all have heard before. But I just like to make sure that it's a part of any time that I talk about this renovation. Our current building was built in 1950. Some of you may be aware that we very recently celebrated its 75th birthday, which is very exciting. The tower was added in 1973. It was meant as a place to store books. A lot of libraries, when it was started to be constructed, were closed stacks, so it was kind of meant to be book space. And now if you had been in the tower before it closed, it is not book space anymore, it is people space. But we haven't had any improvements since then, so all of our systems are pretty out of date, as is everything. Furniture, not bad. We got some good furniture along the years, but like everything that's attached to the building has been, it's pretty old. So we were originally awarded $81 million for renovations back in the 2022 state budget. We had requested 120 million in hopes that we'd be able to do an expansion as well, but we were given 81, which was 81 million is a lot of money. So we're very happy about it. We also were given an additional 17.1 million. I should say 17.1 million. I need to go in and change that. Inflationary increase the following year, which gives us $98 million with which to renovate our building. So just to give you a very squishy timeline, because the timeline is very squishy. The tower closed to the public on December 13th, 2024. The renovation really started, so between December and February was when they removed the 650,000 books out of the tower. And then in February, the renovation began in earnest. Right now, the plan is for phase 1, which is the tower side, to be completed sometime in 2027. Hope that's not too vague for you. It's all I got. And then after sometime in 2027, we will reopen the tower. And then the main building, which is the brick building, the 75-year-old side of the building, will close for an amount of time. And then at some point in the future, it will be over. that vague enough? I don't know. I feel like the further we get into this project, the less we know about the timeline, but maybe that's just me. So the good news, which is really good news, I think, but you know, because it's 2025, there's like a side of bad news that goes along with it. So once they sent out the the project for bid, so like the construction part of the project out for bid, they, you know, I think that when architects are designing buildings, like they obviously know a lot and they know how much things cost ish. And so, you know, they're not designing anything completely outlandish, but, you know, also there's a lot of educated guessing. So basically we had a like a must, like a need to have, and then a nice to have. So in construction speak, the nice to have list is called an alternate list. And on that list, you basically rank the things on that list in order that you want them. So things that you want most would be at the top of the list. But of course, you know, if you are renovating and you have $5 million left in the budget, and the first thing on the alternate list is $10 million, they're going to skip that and move on to other things on the list. So, but you are able to kind of prioritize what you want. And the designers and all the people who, you know things really thought that the alternate list was going to be a wish list for us. But as it turns out, once the bids came in, we were able to get almost all of our alternates list added to the main project. And it's still a little bit squishy because they're still doing some, you know, they're looking at the systems and the pipes and all those sorts of things. So like, you know, some things that are currently on our list may not get to stay there, but we are getting some pretty big ticket items that we were really hoping to get, like a new north entrance, which, just to go back briefly here, when Natalie painted this mural, and the north entrance is this over here on the right side. When Natalie painted this, the north entrance was on the main list and not the wish list. But because of some budget things, it got moved over to the alternates list. So some folks were feeling a little concerned that this was part of this mural that we obviously can't like paint over. But luckily it all worked out because now the north entrance is part of the construction project. So the bad news, which is, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's not great, but it's fine. But like, it takes longer to do those things, right? We're doing more projects. Therefore, it's going to take more time. So that's why the timeline is still in flux at this point. Or as I, a non-expert in construction, tell people, it takes longer to cut 2 holes in the building than it does to cut 1 hole in the building. And that is my construction knowledge for you. So just a quick reminder, the books are living in the, you know, far away right now. We do have lots of ways for you to obtain the materials that you need. I just put this slide in here in case you'd like to refer to it. You know, we are committed to keeping our services intact and making sure that you know, you have what you need for your research and that your students have what they need. So we are committed to helping with you with that throughout this project. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the Ghost of Christmas Present, which is where we are right now with the project. We are in full-on demo mode. So this is what they call a hoist. This thing over here on the left, it's basically like an external elevator that they're using to move materials in and out of the building. So that was installed in July, and it was pretty exciting to watch them. If you'll see over here on the left side, there's this thing that looks like a giant column of trash cans. That is the trash chute, which I'm fascinated by. Sometimes if you're walking by, you might be able to hear things going down the trash chute. So it's very exciting. So this is what's happening on the inside. This is where the checkout desk used to be. They've demolished the checkout desk. So that looks very different, very open compared to what it used to look like. And here's what kind of the view of the main lobby area is from where the checkout desk used to be. And here we have some images from the basement. You can see they ripped out the ceiling. They're going to put sprinklers up there. They're going to put, I don't know, other things, other types of wires and pipes and tubes and all sorts of things. But the sprinklers is really an important thing because, you know, sprinklers are really good for safety. And we did not have them previously, and now we will. This was a big day. So this is from the day when they removed these panels. I will be honest and say that I didn't actually know that these were panels that were removable. I think it's pretty cool that they could just basically pull the concrete off the side and now it looks like this. If you've been by recently, it is covered in plastic sheeting now because it's cold outside. And so I'm sure that's nice for the workers to be able to be inside the plastic sheeting instead of in this very open space. Meanwhile, Will Cook, our facilities manager, visited our books. They're located just outside Columbia, South Carolina, and he did verify there they are. That's what they look like. So they're all safe and warm and cozy in South Carolina while we are renovating the tower. So that was nice to see. All right, so let's talk a little bit about where we are headed. The ghost of Christmas yet to come. So these are some renderings. Some of these we've had for a while and you may have seen before. Some of them that I have are newer. For me, I like to see the kind of before and after because I have a hard time visualizing things spatially. So this is, as you can see on the left, this is before the tower was closed. The three elevators are on the left side. You're looking toward the wall of the super lab, and there were restrooms on the left and right of that wall. So they will be, through the renovation, like blowing out that wall and then building this staircase that you can see right here. I think we have another view of that coming up. So basically, instead of having this wall here with the pictures on it, that's all going to be open. So it's pretty cool. This is a view from the Super Lab, what used to be the Super Lab, and you can see the front side of this staircase. The purpose of this staircase is to, it's to be open. I don't know if anyone here has taken the stairs in the tower of the library before, but it doesn't look this nice currently. It's kind of industrial, I'll say. So it will be an open staircase between the first and second floors, and you can see, you'll be able to see, this is a plexiglass up here at the top, so you'll be able to see what's going on up here. You can barely see on the left side of the rendering some windows, so you'll be able to see just kind of what's happening upstairs. And on the right of this rendering is something that they call a study park. I think that the furniture has changed a little bit, but that's, just kind of an open space, a gathering space, also study space, but, a place where you can meet your friends and things like that. And that is all when you walk inside the new entrance. So you can see, again, I showed you this picture before. I just think it's so cool. But the reason they took out those two levels of panels is because they're making room for this two levels of glass. So this bottom part here in the rendering is the entrance. And just to give you, if you're not super familiar with campus, there's a traffic circle. So basically, again, like this spatial is not my thing, but this is like standing in the middle of the traffic circle looking at the tower. So new entrance here. This second floor space is actually an overhang, so it will hang out over the new entrance, and it will be glass on three sides. So this will be more kind of student gathering space. They're calling it the perch. I went to visit the library at UNC Wilmington over the summer, and they had a similar space, and it's actually really awesome. So I'm really excited that we're getting that space. And also, I will point out that on I think it's going to be the third, fifth, and eighth floors. Oh, don't quote me on that. We will have these windows. That was also part of the alternate in the bid. So we are getting these windows, and I believe they're coming back. The plan is for them to come back on Saturday of this week and remove more of these concrete panels over here. So next week, hopefully, you'll have another different view of the tower, which again is going to be pretty cool because they're making way for these nice new windows. So you'll actually be able to see some daylight from the tower floors, which will be lovely. So this is the new north entrance. Again, this is one that we weren't sure we were going to get, but we are actually getting. So this will take you into the DMC. So again, just to orient you, so you would be standing sort of in the parking lot with North Spencer at your left and the dining hall behind you. And you would be able to come up. This is an accessible entrance here that will lead you straight into the Digital Media Commons. And then this is what I think 3 of the stacks floors will look like. They'll have this kind of broader entryway or not broader open space in the middle for student collaboration. And you can see this is one of the floors that has the windows. So you can see there's a lot of natural light. The other thing that you may notice if you were a frequent visitor to the stacks at Jackson Library is that the stacks have been reoriented 90 degrees. So basically the way that the stacks were before, they were parallel to the windows. So if you picture one of the tower floors, you had windows on 2 sides and then elevator on one side and then like concrete on the other side. And the shelves were parallel to the window walls. So basically there was no daylight unless you were on the very outside of the stacks. So by reorienting them, the natural light will actually come in from the windows. Plus, we'll have natural light coming in from the big windows down there at the end of the tower. So it just looks lovely. Like, don't all these people look really happy? I think they do. So that is a quick roundup of where we are in the renovation. If you would like to, keep up with our progress, I definitely recommend subscribing to the Renovation Review blog that is it's linked on our website. Obviously, this will take you there, and you can sign up it's a good link. You can sign up to get emails, like it's once a week. They're not going to spam you, but you can see, you can get a weekly update on what's happening. You might see interviews with folks that are involved in the project, and just, you can really, really get a good sense of what is happening with these weekly updates. If weekly emails seem like too much for you, you can subscribe to Library Columns. That is our general library newsletter. Those come out monthly. And it's not just renovation, but it contains information about the renovation as well as other happenings in the library. So if you would like to subscribe to that, you can email Rachel Olson and she will be happy to get you signed up for that. You can also sign up for both if you'd like. So, please keep an eye on what we're doing. We are really, really excited. For me, the moment when I realized that this was really happening was when they took those concrete panels off, because then it just felt, real. It's like you can't go back now. So I think it's very, very exciting, but we have a lot more excitement in store. So I believe that is my last slide. It is my last slide. So if anybody has any questions, I can attempt to answer them. Can't promise too much, but I'll try. And I will also add the, oh, thank you. And I will include the link to subscribe to the blog. I think that's it.
I put links to let us know how we did on the form, and then how and then the webinar information, which we do put more information there as they come up. Again, shout out to Anna for already scheduling, but I'm waiting to put the new information to the spring once I get more information in the next couple of weeks. Are there any questions for Amy?
And if you have questions later, feel free to send me an email. I will answer what I can. Oh, Anna's typing. Oh man, that's a really good question. I honestly think reorienting the stacks, like I think that's going to make such a huge difference. If you were ever in the interior, like in between the stacks on the tower, it just like, it was just so dark. And like now there's going to be light. And I just think that's really exciting. It reminds me of about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we opened the digital media the basement, the basement felt very basementy. I don't think that's a word, but I really don't know how. It's just kind of dank and dark and like, ugh, it just felt like you were in a basement. And then they redid the lighting down there, and it was like a new place. Like, you almost wouldn't believe that it's the same space because lighting made so much of a difference. Also, I've watched a lot of House Hunters, and people talk a lot about natural light on House Hunters. But I think that's really cool. Like, I just think that's going to make such a difference, and it's going to be more of a place that people want to hang out because you have that kind of that natural light. So that's my thing. That's what I'm most excited about. What a fun question. Thank you, Anna. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. No. Oh, wait. No, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think it's gonna all be better. Just better.
Yeah, the question was, will you miss anything from the old version? Amy said no.
Can't think of a thing. Bigger and better.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything. And I'm not an expert on the library renovation. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. You again will get the follow-up for the email with the recording information, with the slides, with the link to the blog. And have a great week, everyone. It's Tuesday. I had to think for a second. It's that holiday, adjustment.
Yeah.
So thanks, y'all. And thanks, Amy. And
thank you.
see everyone soon.
Week.
Bye.
Bye.